The first topic I want to touch on today is the Chinese interference scandal. So this has been probably the biggest news of the last few weeks since our last show. It's been these persistent leaks from CSIS, the Canadian Intelligence Agency, uncovering more and more details about how the Chinese Communist Party has tried to interfere and manipulate our election process over the last two elections, 2019 and 2021. Just in the last few weeks, we've seen leaks on all sorts of different things. We've seen social media disinformation campaigns, undisclosed cash donations, the use of Chinese students coming over from China to study here as campaign volunteers or even voters in nomination contests. We've learned about rigged internal nomination contests to select pro-CCP candidates here in Canada in the Liberals and Conservative parties. So broad strokes, Maxim, what do you think about this news?
I'm not so surprised because what Trudeau said before being the prime minister of this country, he said that he admired the Chinese dictatorship. And so, we have a lot of example of Trudeau being very close with billionaires from China. And actually, one of them gave to the foundation of his father, and they had to reimburse $200,000. But it's not only about the interference of the election. Yes, it's a big piece, but it's more than that. They have a police station. Actually, yesterday we saw in the news in Quebec that there's one supposedly in Brassard on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River in Montreal, and in Toronto, in Vancouver, they have these police station, and that's illegal. That's not in line with the international law. That's not in line with our Canadian. That it's illegal, and I understand that RCMP are also doing their investigation on that, but also. We know that they were helping also two conservatives candidates in Toronto at the last election.
That's what these powers do. They play both sides, right? They're
Absolutely.
Not just
They want to be sure to have their man if something happens.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, Daniel, I'm pretty sure because we have a strong stance and we had that since the creation of the party in 2018. Our enemy for us, it's not Russia or Ukraine. We don't want to be part of that war. We're not pro-Russia. We're not pro-Ukraine. We don't have to do anything there. That's not our war. And we are promoting a ceasefire there. But it must be China. And I said that, multiple times.
Yeah.
And we're very, very hard against China. They want to buy our natural resources. They want to influence our election law. They are also giving money to universities.
Yeah.
We must question that also. So, and what Trudeau did this week, as you know, he called, how do you call that?
A special rapporteur.
Oh.
I've never heard of such a thing. But
So that's another way to just postpone,
delay
a real investigation, public investigation on that. And I believe that Trudeau doesn't want that because, as you know, I think he will look bad.
Yeah.
So, but we are pushing for that, and we will. We want all the truth. But I'm very pleased that some people at CSIS think that it's important that that file must be public, and we must have the debate like they had in Australia a couple of years ago.
It's pretty disturbing. Like for intelligence agents, the people with the highest security clearance in the country are so disturbed by Trudeau's actions, his unwillingness to look into these serious causes that they've gone to leaking things to the media.
And now Trudeau is asking CSIS to do an investigation. Who did that?
Into CSIS, not into
CSIS.
China. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's the Liberal government.
Yeah. And then you alluded to it, but there has been a $1 million donation made by a Chinese billionaire. Allegedly, according to CSIS, this donation was reimbursed by the Chinese Communist Party. $200,000 of it went straight to the Trudeau Foundation. The other $800,000 went to causes related to the Trudeau family. What do you think of this information? Is Trudeau compromised? Does he owe the Chinese government?
I believe he is, but that's why he's so against a independent public inquiry.
Yeah.
That's why he's against that. look back in the past with the Liberals and, the sponsorship scandal. Martin, at that time, was prime minister, did a mistake, a political mistake for him and his party, because he decided to have that public inquiry, independent public inquiry, the Gomri Commission. And after that, the Conservatives were elected. So Trudeau Trudeau knows this story, and that's why he's so against that, because we're going to know a lot of more, and I believe it would be very damaging for the Liberal government and Trudeau himself. So that's why he made a special reporter.
Yeah, rapporteur.
Yeah, but he will choose that person like he did with the Emergencies Act investigation.
Yep.
He decided to appointed a Liberal judge, and we know the result of that right now. So he doesn't want that, but I believe that if we do a good job, the pressure will be there, and maybe we'll be able to have what we want.
Yeah. So we don't know if there'll be an inquiry. All we know is that they're going to appoint this special rapporteur, and he'll do his own investigation.
A special report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll determine a public inquiry is necessary, but again, we've seen how those can be manipulated.
Yeah.
What do you think in the perfect world? What would the next steps be to deal with this situation?
Well, I think we must learn from Australia. They passed a couple of legislations because, first of all, before doing that, they had a public independent investigation on all that. And so they decided to act, and they passed a legislation against the public registration of lobbyists who are lobbying the government on behalf of another government, and a couple of other legislations like that. I think it is the first step, and Trudeau is looking at that right now. But we need to know the full details of what happened in Canada, and we need to have that inquiry first. But there's something that we can do as a country, and but just the fact we need to send a strong message to the Chinese government. But actually, I'm not sure if Poilievre also is ready on that. As you know, he won't say the word Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
He's always saying Beijing Communist Party, or
their first press release went out. It was all Beijing Communist Party, Beijing Communist Party.
Yeah. So, but you know why he's doing that? Because he did some poll and focus group near Vancouver, and his goal is to have these riding over there. And I believe that there's a majority of voters there from Chinese descent, who are still in line with the Chinese government, and they don't like when he used the word Chinese.
Yeah, and they don't want the Trudeau Liberals to call them racist and all these things.
Yeah, so he's pandering to them.
If you can't call your enemy by his name, how are you going to win?
You won't win. You won't win. So we are there. We won't change, and we know our enemies, and we know what we must do, and we will ask for a full independent investigation on that, and we'll see what will happen. But I believe there's a lot more. If just the way Trudeau is acting right now.
His Liberal ministers are filibustering and delaying things to prevent information from coming out. We need to go much further than an independent inquiry. I want to see the Trudeau Foundation fully audited.
Oh, absolutely.
Who knows what other donations came in from foreign governments or even domestic corporate elites.
As a political party, we don't have the right. It's illegal to have donation coming from foreigners.
Yeah.
We cannot. You need to be a Canadian. So why that foundation will be able to receive money also from the Chinese Communist Party? Same thing also maybe for universities.
Yeah.
Some one in Montreal, one in Calgary, it's public. They received a lot of funding from the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
That has an influence. We need to know that. All that must be public, and maybe we need to stop that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need to dig into the finances of the Trudeau Foundation for sure. Who knows where money's coming in from? Islamic nations, other superpowers around other powers around the world, or even corporations here at home. But as well, what about all these 11 MPs? that had their races influence or nomination contests. They're just going to continue. They should all resign. We should have by-elections, free and fair by-elections in these ridings.
Being sure that we don't have any influence from the Chinese Communist Party. Absolutely.
If they can win a free and fair election, okay. But
good for them.
Right now, as far as Canadians know, they're compromised. They're beholden to the Chinese Communist Party.
But the Liberal Party is compromised with the World Economic Forum also.